So hello and welcome to another video on how to become a business consulting freelancer. So in today's video, I want us to take a closer look at the session 5, so developing your personal brand as a freelance consultant, as a way to recap everything that I have learned so far from this section, which is part of the course taught by Jesus. Is taught by the course. Is taught by Paul Mendes, the Zero to Mastery instructor, which is a boy who have over 10 years of experience on marketing. So he created this course over. He talked about things like the fundamentals to start building a consulting career. So things like understand what are the tasks that a consultant does, as well as how consulting success looks like, that you have cash flow, flexibility, and the security that these lifestyles give you by having multiple sources of income, as well as how to earn the most for your consulting and your expertise and your suggestions. Some type of project that you can work on, such as strategic or implementation, strategic improvement or implementation. So right now I'm working for a client specifically on the strategic improvement and implementation, right? Why? Because I decided to take that road. And also it makes a lot of sense to me as a consultant to see where we are where we are heading. And so by developing this strategy or aka this roadmap, okay, about what are the problems that a client have and how can I solve them, so then I can develop is now ways to do that. So the roadmap based on this improvement, so I can identify certain business areas or business operations, so I can then later on provide some recommendations and suggestions. So essentially, if the client wants to do that, then we can do the work. So again, my hands dirty. So, and also I look at some consultation takes better, especially for productivity, such as time blocking. Actually, if that works for you, that's great. In my case, actually works for me because when I come from Venezuela, which is a place where it's now, it was the gem of South America, but now fell off apart. So I need to have at least more certainty about what I'm gonna do, how am I gonna do it, and at least this time blocking or this schedule, much like when you go to kindergarten or high school or university, you actually follow a schedule, and then how powerful are schedule, especially just to give you a goal or to give you a series of steps on how to do that until you reach a particular goal. So in my case is to, well, in today's video, recap about the entire course, and also again make a quick recap of the entire course and focus my attention on this section, right? And how developing a personal brand, why this is important, what are the benefits of that, and understanding is the narrative behind that. Not necessary to memorize that, because the whole point of this is I'm not going to memorize anything. However, it can help. But at the end of the day, if you want to live a life inconsistent or in align with nature or with this reality, you need to know is what you do, the thing that you do, why you do that, and that leads to understanding is the fundamentals. But in any case, okay, so as I mentioned before, the section one we talk about is the what are the tasks that a consulting does, what is a consulting, as well as the type of project that you can work on, how consulting success looks like as a consultant, and how to earn the most from your consulting, as well as your suggestions or recommendations, and some productivity tips such as time blocking, find a way to get you into the zone, eliminate distraction, blocking distracting sites, use a Pomodoro technique, or let's say some 45 minutes to focus you, to get you into the zone. Avoid multitasking, very, very important. Uh, and also don't forget to take breaks. This is something underrated, especially when you want to do a lot of things and do multitaskings, and you have to answer phone calls and email, as well as check out for some Slack communications, and also you have to, let's say, fix some web designs, or uh, build some code, or perform some code testing, you name it, right? You name it. So that was the productivity tips, as well as the Eisenhower matrix. If you learn something, this is just my personal notes here. So if you learn something, and if you are not able to apply that, did you? Why in the fucking hell did you learn that in the first place, right? So, and that is because, especially when it comes to decision making, using the Eisenhower matrix has helped me vastly, and because I'm applying that, to deal with the stochastic nature of the reality, right? So, okay. So, also I look at in the section two on how to getting started as a freelance consulting career. It's very important to identify your strength, your weakness, and your strength are things that you have experience, that you have interest, or that you excel at, okay? As well as identify your weakness. And first, capitalize on your strength, because this is where you get the most from that. And then down the line, improve also your weakness. So in my case, yes, as a software developer, technical skills are the first things where I shine. However, when it comes to express that, to communicate to others, how well I am to articulate my ideas, uh, so that's part of my weakness, and something that I'm improving right now. So just for this particular context, as a software engineer, right? You can apply it to your own context as well. So you need to have analytical skill, and this is something that not only uh, for computer engineering, or computer science engineer, or software engineer. This is also useful for any person, you know. So analytical skills, how well or how good is your thinking? Okay, how is your thinking process? So the coding skills, actually, this is something that you can learn along the way, right? So to understand is the syntax, the semantics of the language, and how you can communicate to the computer your desires, or the task that you want the computer to do for you. Okay. The other is technical skill. Everything that you have learned, do you know the trade-off, or you just memorize it? Very, very important, especially when it comes to the talk about big notations, uh, as well as algorithm for sorting or searching. Okay, the whole point of this is to understand when you can apply those algorithms giving a particular problem. That's when it comes wisdom along the way. So next is the communicational skill. Very, very important, because so how well are you to express your ideas or your solutions to others? Okay, so in this section two, okay, so once you identify your strength and weakness, it's also important to see that you can provide your service in different ways as a consultant. So as a specialized service, something that I'm doing right now, is a specialized service, or one-on-one consultation, okay, as well as training and teaching. So in my case, I'm going to compile all of my expertise with that, with the training and teaching, especially on learning Shopify, and combine them with the e-commerce experience as well as with my own experience. And so yeah, but this is the three type of service that you can offer. So specialized service, where you need to be exactly the right guy or gal for the job. One-on-one consultation, when companies wants or they need your help to assist them for a particular business operations or training and teaching, which is the another. Okay, all right. And then identify is the niche, and I'm going to talk about the niche. Okay, identify the niche, as well as establish yourself with a platform. Align yourself with an established platform. This is useful when you go and do the reverse engineering of what are the things that you like to do. Okay, not only on the software aspect, but also on the marketing or perhaps on the music. Okay, so doing this reverse engineering about how your favorite artists or authors actually reach where they are. So how they do the how do they did sorry, how they did that. Okay, and now, so once you know about the niche, as well as the you align yourself with an established platform, it's also important to create your offer. And this is something powerful, because it's helping to simplify your offer by creating a value statement. So when the clients see, hey, okay, I know what you're doing, how you do that, so you are the right person that can solve my problems. Okay, and remember that the whole point of this is that the client is not paying you for the hours you put in. In fact, it's paying you for the value you can provide to them. So once you understand that, and you create your value statement, it's also important to define the scope of the work. Three main key areas, or three key areas here. So to define written deliverables, as well as you define clear deliverables, as well as ask to the client how success is going to be measured, as well as be huge in communication. Okay, so with this three key aspects here. Okay, now I look at something called value ladder. Okay, because a great offer is not just only a single offering. In fact, it's a value ladder of offering. Okay, and create a service agreement to make you look much more professional about the service you provide. Key aspect on this agreement: so project timeline, scope of the work, uh, project scope of the work, project timeline, project duration, terms and terminations, compensations, and agreements. Okay, so this is something great because it can give you some guidance. So when you're starting now to look to find and land high-paying consulting clients, which is the section 3, in place like Upwork, Fiverr, freelancers, or in your existing networks, as well as employment size, this is something that will be helpful in your journey creating this service agreement. And also, it's important to avoid some mistakes, especially when you start to find and land high-paying consulting clients. So first, that you're focusing too much on your portfolio because you don't have anything to show right now. You need to start to find the clients, do that organically, start to provide value. Another mistake is that you start paying ads, again, because you need to find your clients in an organic way. The other is not focusing on your skill set. And this is something that I will argue that a lot of freelancers out there, especially when they reach to some sort of success, okay, they start to relax. This is also known as the middle income trap. You know, this is also known as this. The middle income trap refers to a situation whereby a middle income country is failing to transition to a high income economy due to rising costs and declining competitiveness. You know, because exactly, it's like, yeah, I have enough money for that, so why do I need to put some effort? Why need to innovate? Because I feel myself comfortable in that. Oh, really? I come from a place that a lot of people feel that, and now they are, which is a, which there is nothing wrong with that job, but now they are doing taxi. So they're taxi drivers. So anyway, okay. Anyway, so yeah, this is the whole point of this. When it comes to find this line and find land high paying consulting clients, so you're not focusing on your skill set, and because after all, clients will gonna use your past experience, your reputations to decide if they want to work for you. Okay, so for example, you're not going to a mechanical that do one job here and over there for that. It's highly stochastic, it's highly random. You want someone that actually is dedicating to that, even though that it charge more, but you prefer to do that because cheap is the most expensive word that can be. In any case, uh, uh, so with that, I also look at the different places where you can start to find this line to start to find and land high paying consulting clients, and that is on Upwork, this on Upwork or any other top uh, freelance platforms that connect clients with freelancers, your existing network. This is very contextual because, for example, thanks to the internet, now this opportunity is not restricted to your geography. It's now open and with that you're now competing. You're not competing with the entire world, which is it started to be interesting. It is quite interesting that way. It's very, very interesting. And the other, okay, is the employment side. Even though that this doesn't align 100% to that, but it can help you to at least put your foot in the door, and then down the line, well, you can do is the transition to your consultant. Okay. I also look that it's very important, especially if you're going to conduct a business, to rely on tools like CRM, because you want to keep track every interaction that you're having with any potential client, which is one of the reasons why I have in this document here, is and keep tracking every interaction that I having with the potential with this client. Okay, something that they can also put that in these CRM online tools, such as Hotspot, for example. So Hotspot, for example. So the whole point of this is you keep track every interaction that you're having with any potential client, prospect, or sell leads. Okay, so you can visualize the sales funnel for that. So yeah, so a hotspot is also allow you to schedule meeting, email tracking. So yeah, and now they talk also about especially how you can find, for example, uh, high-paying clients based on the reputation that they have, especially on platforms like Upwork. Okay. Uh, Yep, especially on platforms like Upwork for that. And yeah, especially on platforms like Upwork. And also to identify how to avoid nightmare clients with bad reputation, that kind of things. And some consultation sell tips, okay, such as be an active listener, okay, use speed, use solution selling process, and don't forget to add free value. This last one helped me vastly with to find this client that I already have, with to help to improve their to help to fix bugs on their Shopify app, as well as to improve and add new features and their perform and it is a theme app extension performance, okay, which is great. All right. So I show them that I can learn the basics of Shopify in 2 days, which once I do that, the client say, "Wait, you know what? Okay, I would like you to keep working with you. So you have provided me value. So yeah, we can work together." So uh, and the other is the solution selling process. The solution selling process, which was developed by Frank Watts in 1975 at One Laboratories, one of the largest manufacturing in the world, computer manufacturing in the world, now evaporated. Uh, so he developed that method. Then he go to Xerox, and after that he created his own agency about that. But the whole point of this is for this solution selling process is that diagnose the prospect needs and or opportunities, and then offer the right product or service to solve the problem they have. Okay, so this solution selling process, of course, doesn't work for anything that's sell out of the shelf. So, for example, good luck trying to, unless you are a very good one, unless you're a very good one trying to sell sand on the desert. You can, but most of the time, this solution selling process doesn't work in those environments or in those contexts. And in fact, this is very good for business to business business to business sell process where they need a tailored solution. Okay, so this is very very important because this can break down into niche down, bro. You know, the TLDR of that is like try to identify their pain points. Okay, which is the solution selling process. Identify their pain points, and then offer the solutions. So mention that you are the person to solve the problems. So this is just level one. Okay, especially when you're going to provide value. And just to mention some billionaires that he described that the business is some sort of art. Yeah, business are some is some sort of art form. You know, and that will resonate to me vastly. So yeah, I really love that sentence because genuinely, what I'm doing is this. You know, this is not a strict science or this series of steps to do that because otherwise everybody will be rich or and wealthy. Uh, However, it's very contextual. It depends a lot of where you live and also your relationship with money, your relationship with business, how you perceive them. Because if you have a bad relationship with money, or if you don't understand, uh, if you're not willing to understand the underlying root or the foundation of business, and you just keep the tip of an iceberg, uh, which is okay. So banks are business, and people that do business is consider people that are scammers and that kind of things. If you let that happen, which of course the entire system incentivize, so the entire system incentivize. I think is that in incentivize. Mm, I think it's this or encourage. No, I prefer encourage. You know, the entire system encouraged or promotes uh, to have bad actors or actors that thinks on their own. Uh, well, however, if you can see beyond this, which of course this is something that happens, it's something that exists. However, business is not only and always like this. Okay, so you can now not only develop a broad perspective of what is this, but you can see that what you hate of what you ignore uh, is not that what you think of most of the time. So keep looking here at the solution selling process, uh, and also especially when you now uh, find and land the high paying consulting clients. Remember to tackle all of the objections that may arise. Most of the time, they can be boiled down into value, time, and money. All right. And once you know that the client wants to work with you, it is very important to secure the payment methods. Okay. So get the service agreement signed, secure the payment methods, and then is when you're starting to provide your service. Okay, so once you do that, okay, it's also important to know how you can invoice your client. So right now I'm using is Upwork, but I would like to use, for example, Sohobook to invoice client to have every interaction in my business, so I can keep track every financial interactions, so to have much more control about what's going on in my business. Okay, so once you do that, okay, uh, that you know how to invoice clients. Remember that once you know how to find and land high-paying consulting clients, you send the service. You know how to send the service agreement. You know how to secure the payment agreement. You're starting to gain some tractions. Remember that the ultimate goal of this is to scale your business. Okay, because this is where you can, for example, when you're starting to provide your service to other clients, okay, it diversify yourself from different industries, especially if you have clients from different industries, and you can have a broad perspective of the business aspect. And also it's very, very interesting, by the way. I must admit that this, or it might be very, very interesting, because you're not only tied to one niche, you're also expanding, you're growing. So uh, so yeah, remember that also refers all the key to growth. Okay, the customer relationship management is very, very important. Getting always leads to your business is the way how you can uh, still make your business grow. So remember, get some business leads, build up your reputation, uh, show them value. So get business leads, show them value, and build up your reputation and repeat. Okay, that's the whole point of this. So right now, on the conducting, the section 4, how to conduct a proper research as a freelance consultant. I'm not going to dive deep too much here, just to mention that first recognize is the type of data, especially when you're conducting research for a project. Identify the type of data, as well as know how to conduct a research. So in other words, is see things from different perspectives. So play devil advocate with yourself, because things are not black and white, even though that we want sometimes to be things like that, or we treat the reality like that, but there is a lot of nuance. Okay, gather relevant data for that research, as well as take notes. Very, very important. Take notes and keep record of every source you obtain. Qualify and evaluate the quality of those sources, and don't forget to circle back with your own research or with the client. Okay, I also know how I can conduct a research, specifically based on the guidelines that Paul Mendes actually made, or a particular recipe that I can apply, or I might be applied up to certain point. In my case, so he conduct a research on a tourist website like this, and there's some several steps he follows. So first, look at the products and service. So understand what they offer, and then is when you go to the specifics. Okay, about their pricing, their category, what makes this company unique. Uh, if you can have access to the first party data, that's great, because yeah. So if you can now see how this company have performing in the past, what they have done in the past, and see how you can provide your consulting or your suggestions. Also, after that, it's important to conduct a competitor analysis to understand where this company is going and who the other players in that industry are. See what they're doing, okay? See what you can learn from them, and conduct a keyword research based on that to understand now what's going on in that industry, okay? Uh, and then on top of that keyword research, which is something that I'm gonna do especially for the e-commerce research that I'm doing here, okay? Completely, man, completely, wholeheartedly, yes, yes. Uh, is blah, 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 is, well, on top of the keyword research, get up to date data from worst news. This is to see how that everything that you have researched, what is most likely to work today. So, in other words, is that how can I apply everything that I have researched? Is it still valid? Everything that I have researched. And this is, well, look at the worst news to get how this industry is adapting to regulations and where this industry is going. Okay, so with this you can have a little, you can have a broad perspective of why are you doing the thing that you do, what to do the things, and in any case, take the decision or be the decision makers with quality data. All right. So after that, then I look at, once you know how to conduct a research, it is very, very important to know how you can present your data. Okay, or create visually engaging presentations, right? For that, so create visual engaging presentation based on the research that you conduct. This is very, very important, and something that I also apply for on my Instagram account, because I'm doing this as a way to teach my audience about what am I doing and how am I doing, and the reason of why I'm doing this kind of things. Not only for the software or the technical aspect, which is something very, very, very interesting, but also for the business aspect, you know, as well as the different details involved into this, right? So when a client see my Instagram profile, and also I can show them the testimonials, that will provide, so that will give him a more trust about everything that I have do, and after all, I'm building my reputation here, so other clients can see my value from there, and then I can provide them to do that, right? uh, and ultimately, well, productize myself, right? Period. That's the whole point of this. So productize myself as a level 1. Okay, okay, cool. So when you conduct this research, it's important to put the most relevant data first. Okay, important. Put the most relevant data first, as well as put the most relevant data first. Completely. Put the most relevant data first. Completely. Put the most relevant data first. Create some templates if you want to do that recurrently, which is something that we're gonna do. don't forget to use data visualization and graph for that. You know what? This is something that I'm going to apply for this. Yeah, completely, especially on the e-commerce, for that. Because with this, mhm, especially on the e-commerce for that. Especially on the e-commerce for that. hmm Especially on the e-commerce for that. Which is the mhm, okay, okay. Especially for the e-commerce for that. hmm Especially for the e-commerce. Hmm. Especially e-commerce for that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The visualization. Exactly. Think about visualization. Mm-hmm. Think about visualization for your. Mm-hmm. Think about visualization for your project. Think about visualization for your research. In this case, e-commerce research. Think about visualization for your Instagram e-commerce research. Very, very important because this is a way to not only escape for the competition but also to show people the value or the topic that I'm interested in, right? Think about visualization for your Instagram e-commerce research. hmm a very interesting and important topics to me. Okay, all right. So keep looking at this, all right? About looking at the different visualization that we can use for this is that way we can rely on a bar chart, graph, bar chart, bar, Jesus, pie chart, yeah, pie chart, bar graph, line graph, area chart, scat, scatter plot, as well as bubble charts, heat maps, geomaps, tables, waterfall, pictograms, and so on and so forth, right? Uh, and as well as tool and resource to leverage your report, right? Whether it's Microsoft Excel, Statista, Google Trends, Canva. Actually, what I'm doing is relying on Canvas to create this visualization based on the research that I conduct. Okay, so based on the research that I conduct here. so Google Charts and Google Sheets, as well as CRM and analytics. The whole point is to make it easy to follow, see how others formulate data, and don'ts and do's and data visualization. This is when it comes to do this, So have an organized format, compare data to benchmark, make it readable as possible, and don'ts is use outdated or unrelated data, lose data after you present it, and forget to use precise numbers. So once I look at the data visualization, okay, as well as the communication tips, which is very very important, especially if you're going to present that to an audience that don't hold a background on that. So break down complex topics, as well as show that you understand the goal, and avoid any miscommunication, and understand, especially when you're working with a client, so how it is the communication style. Perhaps this client wants to just do some video calls and the kind of things, or he just wants to rely on a email. As well as don't forget to be a team player. Okay, so keep track everything that you communicate with the client and send brief updates to them. And this A/B testing is something that has vastly improved me, especially not only to build recurring clients, but also to me as a way to provide exceptional results for them. So this A/B testing, after all, it focuses on the A, which is the original or the unauthored version, and B, the expected optimized version. And you can do as many tests as possible, but especially because times and money constraint, following this best practice will help you to provide the client is looking for and solve the problems. So first is do one test and test one variable, as well as make minor change. Very 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 important. Very 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 important. Do one test, so one test at a time. Okay, test one variable and do a small change. Okay, so when you have to split this, okay, so for your A/B testing, when you want to split your group randomly, especially when you want to do this test, and do the test simultaneously. And before all of that, decide how important is to conduct this test, right? So also it's important to measuring over time about this A/B testing, okay? Measuring over time, and remember to plan or to follow this A/B testing, right? So the ultimate goal of the A/B testing is to deliver the best value and also to secure long-term clients. So this A/B testing, especially on performance, all right, is something very interesting to look at it, because this is where the clients say, okay, you now are useful to me. So that is the section 4, okay, where I talk about is the importance of data, where you can get the most relevant data, as well as how to conduct a research, and then how you can create visually engaging presentations, as well as look a brief recap of the data visualizations, the most common data visualization out there, how important is to or follow is some recommendations for data visualization, communication tips for consulting, all right, and how this A/B testing will help you to build recurring clients, okay, by following is this best practice. So after you do that, okay, you started to gain, you find your first client, you secure the payment, okay. So after you find your line, Jesus, after you find and land your high paying consulting clients, you know how to send service agreement. In this case, I am using is Upwork for that. You know how to secure the payment methods through Upwork. I can rely on any other tools. You start to provide and gain traction. You start to gain traction with the client to solve the problems and that kind of thing. Remember that the ultimate goal is to scale your business. But before that, doing this A/B testing is something very, very, very important, powerful for you, right? Uh, Conducting the research, even though that the client doesn't want to pay for that, okay? But it is something good for you if you started to do this, okay? Uh, so after you look at that, right? And So after I saw the value of conducting research, present the results, uh, yeah. After I look at that and how important it is to conduct a research, present or create a visually engaging presentation, as well as follow this data visualization recommendations and improve my communication uh, to the client when you're going to present this report with different data visualizations or different bars and graph. Uh, and remember to be a team player with them. The A/B testing is something that will help you to build recurring clients, and that's something that I really genuinely apply for this client. Okay, that is the power of this. It's not only the theory you can memorize and you can repeat all of this, but when you apply what you have learned, it's like that solidify your knowledge. All right. Okay. So that was very interesting, by the way. That was very, very, very interesting. And with that, that'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye bye.